and welcome to our journey about how we future-proofed our Facebook ad spend. I'm very excited to share our experiences so far. I am Karin Marksteiner and I have been working for TUI for almost 6 years. During those years, I have been working on various topics like machine learning integrations, marketing vendor API integrations, but my main and tons of ad hoc analysis. At the moment, my main responsibility is the integration of marketing vendor APIs, focusing on pushing relevant audiences and keeping track of those throughout their journey, marketing-wise, and of course, when they are on our page. So what is TUI Germany all about? TUI is a tourism company headquartered in Hanover, Germany. It is the largest leisure, travel, and tourism company in the world. It owns travel agencies that are selling holidays to our customers face to face. TUI owns 380 hotels in over 30 destinations. Also, TUI has Europe's largest holiday airline fleet, cruise ships like Mein Schiff, and retail shops. The points I want to dive in today are: how did we use the turbulent and sometimes marketing-wise slower times, especially at the beginning of the pandemic? What upsides did we see in taking on server-side? Why did we decide on Facebook's conversion API as our starting point on our server-side journey? And what will our next steps be in the server-side journey? And finally, what are our key takeaways from this journey? There is probably no need to say that COVID-19 is putting the travel industry upside down since over a year now. This pandemic has kept us and a lot more industries on our toes for over a year now. Additionally, the increasing privacy sensibility and in the wake of that, the impending third-party cookie loss, also a topic every e-commerce company has to deal with. So what are the effects of the cookie apocalypse? Since Google announced they will be removing all third-party cookies from Chrome at some point in 2022, there's no way around the third-party cookie loss. Also, the privacy landscape is changing more rapidly nowadays. Everybody had to adjust to the GDPR guidelines, and probably more adjustments will be upcoming once the e-privacy regulation from the European Union is in place. But also companies like Google introducing same-site cookie enforcement, and Apple, who introduced changes in the privacy settings with the iOS 14.5 update, which is rolled out right now. And this update will prompt iPhone and iPad users to opt out of tracking in apps that monitor their behavior and share their data with third parties. That brings us to the question on how to succeed in an environment with an ongoing pandemic and its influence on the travel market. Well, that means for us, and probably also you, to increase the resilience against the loss of third-party cookies and not be as reliant as before. Another important part is to strengthen our data collection methods, which in turn also helps improving the KPI tracking, and in doing so, generating uplifts by being able to create deeper insights. But more importantly, this will help increase the amount of first-party data about our users. Getting ready for post-pandemic times also means for us to improve our overview of all our customers' touch points. This is especially important for us since we have travel agencies creating extremely valuable touch points with our customers offline. So combining those with online data and being able to stitch those on and offline users together is extremely valuable for us. Because this leads to an even better understanding of our marketing spend. And using the Facebook server-side conversion API, being able to upload the offline conversions to servers, to EventStream, and then forward it to Facebook gives us the freedom and the possibility to do so. Those are not the only reasons why we decided to go for the Facebook conversion API. To make this more clear, I'll just dive a little into the client and server side. On top of the schema, you can see all the users' touch points and devices which the user can use to access your page or your app. Using the integrations and plugins to fill the data layer, and when the user gives their consent, the JavaScript code is loaded and the Facebook pixel is fired. So everything, all the pixel, API connections, SDKs, and so on are loaded client-side. For the pixels, this is extremely problematic in times of ad blockers and their likes. So now with the event stream side coming into that picture, we still have all the touch points. The data layer is still used to gather all the information and pushes that data forward to the tag manager, as known as Telium IQ. But now, additionally, the data is also forwarded to event stream, and the user consent is still honored. But now we have the possibility to use either way. And decide to go with client side, or we can use event stream to push data. So with event stream, there's no need for client side JavaScript load. Once the data is in event stream, we can use APIs like Facebook's conversion API to send data directly from server to server. And in our case, we also used the extremely valuable possibility and feed offline data to event stream. And this empowers us to send offline conversions to Facebook. But there are more main selling points for the switch to server side. So, and those are, you are in full control of what is shared with whatever marketing partner you decide to. You're in full control, and you are able to extensively manipulate data before it is sent to Facebook. You can always go into event stream and check what is sent, or if there is an error log happening at the moment. You can also think about sharing sensitive data you might otherwise not want in the user's browser, like your margin, for example. That is something you might not want to have client-side regularly. Also, you can send data not occurring in the browser, like in our case, the offline conversions, or touch points like fraud check, which is usually happening after the conversion. So let's get to the point on why we decided to take the server-side approach with the Facebook Conversion API. First of all, travel is an image-intense product. We have tons of beautiful pictures with extremely nice hotels and beaches. And here, Facebook gives us great freedom in creating our own campaign creatives in an easy and fast way. Also, the way Facebook lets us showcase our products just works really well for us. Secondly, Facebook works great as a prospecting channel for us. And thirdly, we switched lately from an agency to an in-house approach, giving Facebook an even bigger focus. And we also wanted to mirror that importance with the server-side approach. The fact that we are sending data to Facebook using server-side is mitigating obstacles like ad blockers and browser security updates like ITP, the Intelligent Tracking Prevention from Apple. And knowing this, we were expecting to see an increase in volume in data being sent through to Facebook, and thus generating more insights about our ad campaigns. With the better tracking, there should also be an increase in booking conversions and reduced costs per booking. Nice side effect on using Facebook Conversion API is the reduced amount of JavaScript that is needed, and therefore helps reducing the page load times, which is especially important with the upcoming Google update around the Web Core Web Vitals, which Google tailors into their search results. And I guess everyone now is looking for their extra millisecond they can save in page loading. So the setup of Facebook Conversion API was fairly easy, as Telium provides a template for the API connection. But before we handled the API connection, we created an extra stream of tracking events. In our first setup, this stream was consisting only of purchase events. Once this was ready, we set up the Facebook connection to our Facebook business account. The template provided by Telium does a great job in guiding you through the necessary steps. For us, setting up the connection, setting up the connection was also a good point in time to go over our data policies and clarify on what we are allowed to share and what we want to share with our marketing partners. Switching to event stream and sending data server-side delivered us great uplifts. Since our tracking was more accurate, we were able to be more precise in steering our campaigns. This helped us to decrease our cost per booking by 6%, and the ability to be more precise in our audiences we targeted with our campaigns meant we could increase the conversion rate by an impressive 29%. And last but not least, Facebook's return on ad spend increased by 18%. All those results helped us set Facebook in a different perspective and compare it more accurately with other prospecting channels. Because now we're able to calculate the real value we were getting from Facebook. It also helps us improve our overall attribution compared to other marketing channels, and of course helps us improve our look-alike audiences that we can target in the platform. Our first experiences have proven the added value we gained from switching to the Facebook Conversion API. The setup phase was supported by an intuitive user experience of the API in Event Stream. And most important, from the beginning on, we saw improved data accuracy in our Facebook conversions, which as a result also led to an increased overall performance. I also wanted to share the learnings we had during the setup of the Facebook Conversion API. So make sure all the necessary web variables are forwarded to server side. Pay attention to the correct formatting of, for example, phone numbers and email addresses. Make sure you have the data flow ready for data that is not provided in the browsers. For example, the offline conversions or the fraud detection or whatever comes to mind. Allow yourself to think out of the pixel box, since server-side gives you a fair share of new possibilities. So it's not like in the old ways where only what the user was doing on your page was sent via pixel, but here you have so many new possibilities, what you could add additionally as information. So I guess that's a good start here to think bigger. Indeed, this is just the beginning of our effort to make us more resilient towards the obstacles that are ahead of us. A journey we started out by sending just the purchase events using the Facebook Conversion API. In order to use the whole potential, we'll be sending also page view events via server side. The gain in data accuracy is a great motivator to work together with other marketing partners and also do the switch from client to server side with the rest of the marketing. Here we are looking forward to further reduce the amount of JavaScript loaded on our page with more marketing partners that we shift to server side. Being able to have more precise tracking and really knowing where our customer is coming from helps us in setting up better retargeting campaigns and also reassures us in where to put our marketing money on. Thank you for listening in on my talk about our journey, about how we future-proofed our marketing spend.
Presentation, very, very insightful. I have a few questions for you, if I may. So starting from the top, you spoke about being able to ingest more data server-side, for example, offline conversions, in order to get that full funnel visibility. Can you explain a little further about the business value or impact of those additional insights?
Well, for us at TUI, it's kind of like the first time that we are able to actually see the impact we have with online ads. How does that work also with our offline retail stores? So kind of like for the first time we are spending money online, and now we can stitch that together with an offline conversion and get even more out of our marketing spend in that way.
Fantastic. Very, very good. That makes perfect sense. Second question is, oftentimes in these IT projects, our customers tell us that tech is kind of the easy bit, and that did you have to do anything differently in terms of your internal teams and processes to make this project a success?
Actually, in that case, it was super easy tech side, and also from a marketing perspective, it just worked really well. There was nothing else to do. Just see the data flowing in, and worked perfect. So really super easy setup.
Good stuff. Well, that's good to hear. Fantastic. You talked about using Facebook for prospecting. Can you just explain a little bit more? How did this project and receiving better quality data ingestion help you with acquiring new customers? For example, in order to create your lookalike audiences or your retargeting efforts?
Well, by being able to send more data over to Facebook and be more precise in the data quality, this in turn kind of allowed us to create better lookalike audiences. So because the data that we sent to Facebook was more precise, of course, the basis on what the lookalike audiences are built now is way better. So that also made us have better lookalike audiences, for example.
Fantastic. Awesome. Next question is, you mentioned around consent. I know this is a bit of a prickly one. As customers become more savvy on how their data is being used, what are TUI doing to further gain customer trust?
So here actually server side is helping us a lot, because with server side we are in full control on what we send to whom at what moment in time. And compared to the pixels where you have some JavaScript loaded on your page, and then the vendor was actually more or less able to load whatever you wanted. But now we have with server side full control. So that I think is a big advantage and a big trust for our users on our page.
Fantastic, thank you. Facebook is obviously the first step on the journey for you as it relates to server side, but it seems there's a huge direction of travel in the market, moving more and more in that direction. Can you just talk a little bit about where you see the market going and how you guys are course correcting?
I think server side is going to be more and more important in the future. We started our little journey, but I think seeing that we are in full control now and being able to send whatever we want at the time we want it, I think that's getting more and more important, especially in times of GDPR and especially in times of consent, where people are getting fed up with clicking OK on every page. Yeah, so control, and definitely also that we don't have to load the JavaScript anymore on our page. That's definitely helping, because I mean, you start with one pixel that's only a little bit of JavaScript code, but then you continue your journey and you get fewer and fewer JavaScript loading from pixels, and that helps a lot.
Final question. I loved your think outside the box reference. So tell me, where next with your enhanced capabilities and server side? You mentioned around conversion events and maturing that to be page view events, but what else are you guys doing and where else are you taking this capability?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as I mentioned in the earlier, yeah, we did a big piece of work with the offline conversions already. But I think next will be the margins, because the margin is also very important to us, and it highly differentiates on all the different. I mean, it depends on where you fly from, where you go to. So it can be really difficult to get the margin right. So that would be something that we will definitely work on, because yeah, it's of course best to spend marketing where you have a high margin, of course. And what we also want to work on next is on the customer scores that we want to integrate in the server side. So I guess everyone knows you have your ABC customers, and yeah, you want to spend your money on where you think customers bring in the most. So those margin and customer scores are our two main focus.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to hear where you go next. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you.